deep sense of gratitude that I get to meet with you on a regular basis. You bless me because you allow me to be with you. And I just want you to know how incredibly grateful I am. And each of you that show up, you could be doing anything tonight, and yet you choose to be here with me. And that is such an honor and such a humbling experience to me that you would do that. We've been working through how to listen our way to fulfillment. We've been experimenting during this series with putting it here on Facebook and YouTube. And I want to announce tonight, for the ones of you that are here and ones might listen later on, we're not looking into. I'm going to start what right now looks like a half-hour podcast, probably sometime in October, and it's going to be called Slices of Success. It will drop. It will go live every Thursday as it looks right now. You'll be able to download it on your phone and listen while you drive. You'll be able to listen while you work out, while you walk, while you do those things. You can listen to it while you're opening up your school restaurant in the morning and there's nobody else around. You can listen to it on your phone. You can listen to it anytime you want. And it'll be worldwide. It'll be everywhere. And I'm pretty excited about it. I'm attending a class on Thursday morning to learn some more nuances about it. And I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be doing that. And you'll be able to subscribe to it. You'll be able to find it on all the places where podcasts are located. And I hope you're as excited about it as I am. I'm a little bit nervous about it because it's a learning loop, yet to learn is to take a leap. And as you know, that's what we're all about, is taking a leap, because slices of success are about that. So let me tell you what the podcast will be like. It'll be mostly exactly like what we have here. And some of the subjects that we're going to be handling is, number one, we're going to look at, on a regular basis, family dynamics and relationship dynamics and how to leap to fulfillment in those two areas. Then we're going to be talking about our big serve not only in our career, but also in the place where we volunteer. And we're going to be doing everything we can to encourage you to volunteer somewhere in your community. And thirdly, we're going to spend a lot of time speaking about and talking about how to recover the stolen treasure that conflict and bitterness and anger and resentment takes from us. Because in every conflict, there's some sort of treasure that conflict was after, yet if we capture it, it becomes treasure, it becomes jewels, it becomes those things that launch us to new spaces. And so that's what we're going to do. Sometime in October, we're going to launch that. I haven't picked the exact date yet. I'll know that right after I go to the class on Thursday and see what it has to do and what we have to do. And I look forward to you being part of that and just being part of that. You, as I said, you honor me every week when you show up. And I'm so thrilled that two sisters can meet here. They live in the same town and they get to meet here and have conversation. That excites me. That really is an honor that you guys can do that you trust us to be able to meet here. And so here's what we've done. So far, over the last 3 weeks, we've talked about that we've got to really be great at our listen. We've got to log out of all the other conversations that we've got going on. We've got to log out of all those. And you will recall that when we first started out, we talked about the multiple conversations that we have in our heads, those conversations with our past, those conversations with our future self, those conversations with our insecure present self, those conversations, we got to log out of all those things. We talked about 2 other things that we've got to log out of. We've got to log out of the business that's around us, Carol Ann. We've got to log out of the business that's around us. And then we've got to just discontinue and downgrade our screen time. Don't do it right now, though. Wait till we're done before you get off your screens, all right? We've really got to downgrade it. We're going to have a conversation with each other. We cannot at the same time be on our screens and be looking at our iPad or our tablets or our phones and things like that. Because if we do, what happens is we miss the opportunity to be able to really communicate with each other. Lori, do you understand what I'm saying? Because while I'm checking my text, I can't really hear what you're saying. Miss Manji, you know what I'm talking about. When I'm on my phone or on my laptop or I'm looking at the activities around me and I'm trying to hold a conversation with somebody, the truth is I can't really do that. I cannot adequately be here and in my screen or all the activity around me at the same time. I got to log out of all that. The second thing that we talked about was right here. We must invest in the one talking as though they have a treasure for us, as though something in their words, there's a treasure. Now, let me just tell you about those treasures. The person talking might be talking for 20 minutes. They might be talking for 5 minutes. They might be talking for an hour. And sometimes some people that are talking will hide one morsel, one little nugget of treasure in an hours-long conversation, which means that you and I have to really be up on our game. We have to really be up on our listen. Yet, if we go there intending to discover a treasure, we are more likely to discover that treasure than ever before. And for me, one of the things that really works for me is when somebody is talking, whether it's a speaker that's doing a professional development, they're up on the stage, or I'm having a one-on-one with somebody, it really helps me when I look at them, when I have eye contact with them. And on the inside of me, I'm waiting for this special conversation. I'm waiting for this intense treasure that I'm going to get. Then last week, that was 2 weeks ago, then last week we talked about serving the one talking, serving the one that's speaking through our 100% presence, just being there with them. And I shared, I think, 3 ways that I do that effectively that helps me. One of the things, especially if I'm at a professional development, I'm at a speaker event where somebody's up on the stage and they're going to be speaking. I do everything I can to sit as close to the front as possible. The reason I do that, there's 2 reasons I do that. One is I'm an alphabet kid. I see everything. I hear the conversations. I notice everybody getting on their screens and they're texting somebody. They're searching Amazon to see what they can have delivered to their house. And I wonder what it is they're doing. And while I'm wondering that, I'm missing what's up on the stage. That's one reason that I want to sit close, because I'm distractible. I'm just going to tell you, I am so incredibly distractible. I can be distracted so easily. And so when I go to an event, I do everything I can to sit as close to the front as possible. That way I see less of what the audience is doing that's not connecting to the one that's speaking. Now, another reason I do that is I hope to get close enough so that I can look at their eyes. The one up there on the stage, the one up there speaking, I want them to be able to look down and see me looking at them, see me with my inquisitive eyes, my smile, letting them know that I'm there to pick up on whatever they're going to give me, And now that's when I'm at an event. When I'm with somebody, for me to be able to serve them with my total presence, the truth is, if I sit facing where all the activity is, everything's going on, often I get distracted. Now, I know none of you get that, because you can look at all that activity, you can watch the TV, you can watch everything that's going on and still know what's being said. I know that. I'm telling you, this is a me thing. Now, maybe one of you, maybe 2 of you get distracted by seeing everything. If that's you, just give me some love and give me a thumbs up and say, that's me too. I have a problem with being distracted when I'm having a conversation with somebody. See, it's easy to do. It's easy to do, isn't it? We get distracted. We get distracted. See, thank you for that, love. Thank you for saying that. And see, what I do, I attempt, I don't get to do this every time. What I want to do is turn to where I can see just you and not see everybody else. Lori, thanks for raising your hand. And Jennifer, thank you for saying that's me. Okay. It's a problem for me. It's an issue for me. So that's why if you see me someplace, if you see me in an event, don't be surprised if I turn the situation around to where my back is to all the activity. And the reason I do that as often as I can. Now, I wish I could tell you I do that every time. I wish I could tell you I do that every time. Yet I don't. Okay? I just don't. I do it as often as I can because you are more important than everybody else. When I'm with you, you're more important than everybody else. And I've been really practicing something else too. Nobody's really known it. Nobody's really seen it. Nobody's acknowledged it. Yet I've been practicing something else for the last month. And that is when I go over to my VP's home, when I go over to my VP's home, I don't bring my cell phone in. I leave it out in the truck. Yeah, I leave it out there. And there's a reason why. Because when I'm with them, they're the most important. What I do a lot of times when I'm with other people, I will turn it on silent and put it in my pocket or set it away from me because I just don't have the wherewithal. I'm just telling you. When I hear it go, or I see the light flash, I'm just telling you, there's a part of me that leaves our conversation and goes to that phone. And sometimes it's just Pinterest. Because if you know my other daughter, if you know Tiffany Dawn, she's a Pinterest fiend sometimes. Not all the time, yet sometimes. And she sends me things. And it'll light up and I'll think, what's that? Something's going on. And then I check out of our conversation. I check out. And that's just rude. That's just rude, isn't it? For me to check out of the conversation that you and I are having. Tonight, in the remaining moments that we have, tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about this one right here. We're going to be talking about triangulate the conversation so that I can be a learner, rather than a talker. See, and how do you do that? How do you do that? Today I was in the classroom with my daughter, Carol Ann, and every time I'm in the room with her, I feel like I'm going to burst with pride watching how she handles her room, how she handles and leads her co-teachers, and how she handles and leads the volunteers. Today she told a story about a lady that was, I'm going to call her Miss Triangle. And she had a triangle shape. And she got to looking at squares and circles and rectangles. And so what she wanted to do is she wanted to be like them. And so she changed herself to be a rectangle. But yet she wasn't happy. Then she changed herself to be a circle. And she wasn't happy. She wasn't fulfilled. Then she changed herself to be a square. And she just didn't fit in. It wasn't until she became very comfortable with being her triangle that she was comfortable. And I'm saying to you that when you and I have conversation, we've got to learn how to triangulate or triangle the conversation. What does that mean? Let me just tell you what that means. That means that if we're going to have a fluid conversation, okay, if you're a public speaker, listen to me. If you do training, listen to what I'm saying, because this works as well there as it does in a 1-to-1 or a 3-to-1, a conversation. Yes, some of the conversation needs to be about you. Yes, it does. Some of the conversation needs to be about you. Some of the conversation needs to be about me. For me to stay engaged, for you to stay engaged in this conversation, it needs to be about both of us, equal amounts, doesn't it? Yet if we're going to learn, Excuse me. If we're going to triangulate to become learners through this conversation, whether it's with a speaker up front or a conversation with somebody, what we've got to learn how to do is move away from a conversation about you and me and move to a conversation up here about us. It needs to be more about us than you or I. Now, how in the world do you do that? Because our natural tendencies, I think, give me a thumbs up if you think so. Our natural tendency is to talk about us, is to talk about me, oh, me, isn't it? That's our natural tendency. We want to tell somebody about what's been going on. And so let me give you a couple things that will work. Now, again, do not look at me as though I'm the expert on this and I have this down 100%, Jenny. Do not look at me and think, oh, Matt has this down. I can model my life after Matt. Matt does not have it down. I'm like a baseball player that has a good record of hitting the ball, okay? Because I get in conversations, I'm at the plate more often than most. Because I interact with people, I'm at the plate more often than most. And so here's what happens. I probably, numbers-wise, fail at this more than you do, more than some of you do, because I speak with people a lot, okay? And so the truth is, numbers-wise, I probably fail at this more than you do. Percentage-wise, probably maybe as high as 2/3 of the time, I'm foul tipping the ball. I'm striking out. Really, honestly. Yet, if I can have an engaging conversation 33 to 50% of the time, maybe I'm more productive and effective at connective communication than most. When I can move that conversation to you and to us and away from me, then it really works. So how do we do that? How do we do that? In our remaining few minutes together, how do we do that? Number one, learn how to ask the other person sentence or paragraph response questions. Move away from yes, no questions. Ask sentence response or paragraph response questions. And then you listen. Now check this out. Watch what happens. Now, once they answer you, because you're leaning in and you're listening, what you want to do now is ask some more questions. And then when you're about, you're on a committee, you're on a board, you're on a team, now you say, how can we do better? What can we do to bring this about? If you're a team leader, if you lead a team, okay? Now, I know some people call themselves leaders, but let me tell you something. One of my dear friends, one of my mentors says, John Maxwell, if you think you're a leader and you look behind you and nobody's following you, the truth is you're not a leader. You're just on a long walk. People have got to follow you. People have got to follow you. They got to want to mimic and follow what you do. I watched my daughter do this today with great skill with her volunteers and her two assistants in her room. I watched her do this. It was phenomenal to watch her do that. She's a leader in that classroom. She's a leader of students. She's a leader of students. She asked these preschool kids to come sit down, and they do. You know that? I can't get adults to sit down sometimes, Don. You know that? I can't get adults to sit down, and yet she did that. It was amazing how that happens. Now, so the first thing is move away from talking about yourself. Ask them questions about themselves that demand sentence responses or paragraph responses, and then move the conversation to us and how can we do better. Now, to continue that, look at the person as much as you can. Now, I know some of you would prefer to text. Texting is not going away. It's going to be here forever. It's going to be here forever. Yet I encourage you once in a while to make a phone call. Okay? Once in a while, make a phone call. And if you have FaceTime, it's remarkable what happens if you can FaceTime with somebody on a conversation when you can't be in the room. It's pretty remarkable what that does. Okay? So what have we talked about tonight? We rehearsed, we went back over log out before you log into the conversation. We talked about investing in the one speaking as though they have a treasure for you. We talked about serving them with your total presence. And then we talked about triangulating to become a learner rather than this espouser of truth. One of the things that I enjoy doing, one of the things that I get when I get to be in front of a room and working with people, one of the things that I enjoy doing is having a time in the middle of my training where they get to ask me questions. Now, here's what's interesting. Every time that we do that and they're asking me questions, what most of them don't realize is I'm also asking them questions. Because when they ask me a question, I will reiterate back to them, so is this what you meant? And then they'll correct that or they'll add to it. They'll be more involved in it. And I get to meet them. I get to know them in a greater way. That's what happens, okay? When I'm in a conversation with people, one-on-one, or we're at a round table, I love to sit and just listen to them and ask them, well, tell me how you did that. Tell me how you do that. What is it that you do that makes that win? And then what happens is because I become a learner, it moves from me, moves from them, and it comes to us because now we're engaged. We're engaged on being learners together. It's quite remarkable. It's quite remarkable. I enjoy doing that. So next week, we're gonna talk about how to engage in thought-filled questions. And then the following week, we're going to talk about how to negotiate the pitfalls, the problems, and rather than looking just at those, we're going to look at the possibilities. We're going to figure out how to look at possibilities. And honestly, I think all of us can use this. I think all of us could use this. I wish the political scene right now, the candidates that are running for president, would ask you some questions sometimes and then just listen to you. I think it'd be remarkable if they would ask you some questions and really listen. The other day I got a survey. One political party wanted to know my thoughts. And so I filled that out. I did a lot of writing in there too. I wrote a lot of things in there off to the side and I drew lines. I don't know if they'll look at it. I don't know. I hope they will. I'd like to vote for somebody this year that tells me what they'll do for me instead of telling me how terrible the other candidate is. Because I already know who I'm not voting for, right? I already know. And I don't need to be told more dirt on them or more inadequacies about them. I want to know why to vote for you. And the way I get to do that is to listen. Is to listen. So, listen, I'm Matt, and I'm your friend. And you can reach me anytime at 916-708-8103. You can text me there or you can call me there. And you can email me at leap@mattupton.net. And give me your thoughts about the podcast, the upcoming podcast, the release of Slices of Success. Right now I'm looking at 30 minutes long. Sometimes it'll be just me on there. Sometimes I'll interview some people. Give me your thoughts and tell me what you think. Send me a text. Send me an email. Put something here and give me your thoughts. What kind of subjects would you like me to look at? Okay. One of the upcoming ones that I'm going to do here and there is how do you handle a boss that's truly a jerk? You know? Because we have bosses that are truly jerks once in a while, don't we? And we're going to be doing that pretty soon. I hope to see you soon. I'm going to be in Northern California the end of this month. I'm going to be in Southern California, I think, at Rialto around the 24th. I'm going to
be in Ontario, California, the second full weekend of November, and somewhere along the lines, I hope I get to see you. If you need some us to work together, please get a hold of me. Okay, I did, Lori. I wrote a book. And it's doing pretty good. I'm amazed at how well it's doing. Okay, I'm out of here. You got things to do, and I want to honor that. Okay, remember, you can always reach out to me at 916-708-8103. You can call or text me there. You can email me at leap@mattupton.net. I will see you soon. Thanks for being here.